I have been eagerly awaiting being able to film this video because I have a Moda mystery box, a pretty heavy Moda mystery box, and I've had it waiting since before Christmas to open up and share with you. So stay tuned. We're gonna open up this box. I'm gonna show you what's in this box, and this is gonna be a fun video. Now, before I dive into the contents of this mystery box, I wanted to introduce myself. There are a lot of new faces showing up here on the channel, and it has been so much fun getting to chat with you. But I know some of you might not be familiar with who I am, or maybe this is the first time you're watching one of my videos. My name is Corey Yoder. I am a pattern and fabric designer. My pattern company is Coriander Quilts, which stands for Corey and her quilts, and I design fabrics for Moda. And I've been designing for Moda for, oh goodness, since about 2014, so not quite 10 years. And this fabric line behind me, sun washed. This one that is, if it's not in quilt shops while you're watching this video, it's going to be there very soon. That fabric line is my 18th fabric line for Moda. And I'm telling you all of this because I was really excited to team up with Moda for this video. So the way this is going to work, Moda sent me this wonderful box of goodies. I'm not sure what all is in here, and you are definitely going to want to watch to the end of the video because we also have a fun giveaway planned. So inside this box is all kinds of Moda goodness, notions, fabrics. I don't know what all is in here, and what I'm going to do is take a look what's in here, and I'm going to make something with the items. Now, this is a heavy box. I don't know how heavy this box is. There's a lot in here. So I don't know that I'll be able to make just one project using all of these things. So it might end up being multiple projects, but this is going to be fun. So let's just go ahead and dive in. I'm going to open it up. We'll look at what's here, and then I'll let you know what's gonna happen next. So I've got the sides open, but I left this part intact so that we could really open it together. And here we go. All right. Now we're gonna take a look at what we have in here. So, packing supplies. And look at all of this. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. This is so fun. Okay, let's just start with this little fella here. Okay, so we have a little zipper pouch. Probably not going to use this in my project, but I think we can all use a cute little zipper pouch. What do we have here? This is a reference guide. It looks like it is for all sorts of, we have backing assembly, backing yardage formula, that's super handy. Bed and batting sizes, charm pack patterns. So just a little book of all kinds of reference information. Okay, what else do we have here? This is fun. Have you guys used these cupcake mix recipe papers before? If you haven't, they're a really neat notion, and I see that we also have a charm pack of Sweet Liberty by Brenda Riddle. So these two items are going to work together really nicely. Now, if you have not used these before, would you be interested in some kind of a tutorial at some point in the future? Because I know there are ones out there that you can look at, but if you think that would be helpful to see another one, let me know, because I just think they're the handiest little things. They are available for charm packs as well as layer cake squares, and it's a really fun way to make a quilt. Now let's just look at these. Okay, so I said Sweet Liberty by Brenda Riddle. Now, I have not seen this in person, so I'm gonna flip through these. That's the cutest little print. A little red rosebud print. I love this sort of print for backgrounds. You have like a little polka dot floral print, a ticking stripe. These colors are really pretty. So it looks like it's sort of a patriotic color scheme, but really soft. and pinks, which is a little unexpected in a Liberty-esque type fabric line. So that floral is really pretty. Oh, Brenda always does such pretty gingham fabrics. So there we have her gingham. More of that little polka dot. A little rosebud. I'm going to go a little bit faster here, but you get the idea. Really pretty little. There's the blues. Really pretty blue. And down at the back we have sort of a taupey color back here. That's pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna have to start thinking charm pack patterns and cupcake mix patterns. That's fun. All right, let's keep moving along. Well, let's just look over here, Rickrack. Now, I do not use a lot of Rickrack. I've made some bags before, but I've never used Rickrack in a bag. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever used Rickrack in a quilt either. I've seen some cute quilts where they have used Rickrack around the blocks. I would have to check with my long armor to see how that long arms. I feel like that could be tricky for a long armor to work around, but it could be really pretty added into the binding, just peeking out the edge of your binding on the front. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit. This is bigger. This is the wide Rickrack. So I would usually think about the smaller, but I'll have to play around with that a little bit. I'm not sure. Okay. Keep calm and quilt on. Yes. What else? We've got mini charms. Oh goodness, they really sent me so many good things. Mini charms of Sweet Liberty as well. That's gonna be fun. I have some cute mini charm patterns. I think what I'd like to do, seeing what all we have in here, I'm probably gonna, because we haven't even looked at these. These are fat quarter bundles, guys. We haven't even looked at these. I think what I will end up doing is probably designing, I'm gonna pull these out and then finish my thought. A fat quarter bundle of the Sweet Liberty fabric. So these are the same fabrics that we saw in the charm pack. So I could mix, you could mix and match a fat quarter bundle with a charm pack. Or we also have a mix it up bundle, which is by Moda. It's one of the bundles that they put together. So I think it could be really fun to mix these two bundles together into a fat quarter quilt. We've got a lot of great low volumes in this bundle here. That would mean we wouldn't need extra background fabric, and there's very little white background, just a couple prints of white background here in Brenda's bundle. So these two could mix really pretty together. You can see they both kind of have this taupey color over here. So my mind is thinking that maybe it's going to end up being some kind of a fat quarter quilt, something fast, bigger pieces of fabric, so that it can be pieced together quickly, and maybe a pattern that I would use multiple times. Like sometimes you just want to be able to grab some fat quarters, cut it out quick, and piece it quick, and have a completed quilt top. So that could be a really fun way to use up these fabrics. All right, what else do we have here? Well, let's look what this is. This is, oh, okay, so an LED craft light. That looks handy. I'm reading the back here. Extra small, extra bright. I do not have a light at my sewing machine. I sew a lot during the day because I like to go to bed early. I am an early to bed, early to rise sort of person. So I do most of my sewing during daylight hours, but on rainy days, every now and then, I will wish that I had a little light to just kind of brighten things up a little bit. So it says there's no batteries needed. Just plugs into your outlet, and it recharges, it looks like. So maybe you plug it in and then it recharges, and then you would just recharge it again. I'll have to check this out. This seems really neat. Let's open it up and take a peek at it here. Okay, so it is small. Okay. All right, so it's this little gadget here. And it has it looks like a Velcro sort of stickiness. So you could stick it wherever you wanted it on your machine. And then there is like a little, I should know the name. What is this? USB charging cord? Is that what this is? USB? Okay. Ryan is nodding yes. He always makes so much fun of me when well, he doesn't make fun of me. He just thinks I should know the names of all of these things. And I don't always. I do know a lot of quilty terms, but not so much electronics terms. So a little USB charging cord. Oh, and the little, see, I don't know, what's this? Plug. The little plug that you would use. So that's kind of fun. That's neat. I'll try that out and let you guys know how that works out. How bright it is, how long that charge lasts. It'll be a fun one to use. Okay. We have, fabric tube maker for making jelly roll rugs and more. I'd be curious about how the and more part would work because I don't know that I would need to make another jelly roll rug. I actually have one right underneath my feet here in my sewing room, so I don't know that I need another one, but this looks like that would really streamline the making of the cording, the tubes that you need for those jelly roll rugs. Okay. Oh, now this is handy. I don't know if you have ever used a tool for pressing your seams open, and that's what this is. It's by Ewe Me, E-W-E, Ewe Me, and it is a wool pressing stick to press your seams open. Now I have a smaller version of this that I have really been enjoying using over the last few weeks. It's not a wool one, which it being wool makes me excited. That seems really nice. But it's really slick for pressing seams open. I don't like pressing seams open, but this sort of tool really streamlines it a lot. I was quite surprised when I tried a similar tool at how much nicer it is for pressing the seams open. So I'm excited to try this one. I do like my wool pressing mat, and I think this could be really nice. It's such a nice size too. Well, that's neat. I didn't know that there were wool versions of this notion, so that's exciting. Okay. We have a little scissors, a little Needlecraft scissors. A sewist can never have too many little scissors. This looks like a great one. Let's tuck him back in here. What is this? No kidding. Magic flathead pins. I have a lot of magic pins. I really like my magic pins. I have them in a lot of different sizes. This flathead option looks really neat. Have you tried those magic pins? Let me know. I really like mine. I have a lot of pins that I like. Magic pins rank right up there, but I didn't know they had a flathead pin. Okay, so we looked at the scissors. Okay, we have a boxed bag template. I don't think any of the bags I've ever made have needed a special ruler, so I'm hoping that in the instructions here there are going to be some good instructions about how to use it. It says the boxed bag template allows you to cut boxed corners to make bags without the worry of cutting into your fabric. Well, that sounds great. I just haven't tried it before. That's the fun. I was excited to team up with Moda because I knew that they were going to send me things that were going to have me trying out some different options. So I'm excited with everything they've sent. A magnetic pincushion. How nice is that? I do have a magnetic pincushion and I do like it. This is nice. These will work great with those magic pins. So that's a great combo right there. Put these down in here. I think this is the last item. So we have something in a box. Oh, it looks like it's gonna be a mug. How fun. I know I love a good mug. Let's see what we have. All right. So it says cup of hugs. That's cute. Let's open this up and you can get a better look at that. So a nice big mug. Now, I do like drinking tea and like drinking coffee, but sometimes when I get a cute mug, I will use it to put like pens and pencils in there, or rotary cutters, or I'll use it just for a little bit of notion storage. So a cute mug is well purposed in my sewing room. I can always find a spot for it, whether it is drinking tea or storing notions. So that is the last item I have in here. And now I really need to start thinking about what I want to do with all of these goodies. 1 week and 1 haircut later, and I am back to chat a little bit more about this Moda mystery box. I had time to open up those fat quarter bundles. They're laying right here in front of me. Let's just go ahead and take a look, because I know you probably wanted to see what those bundles looked like just as much as I did. So here they are, all laid out. This is the mix it up side, all of these whites and cream low volume prints, and this is the Sweet Liberty side by Brenda Riddle. This week I've been playing around with different ideas. There were so many things in the Moda box that the fat quarter bundles are my first priority. I'm gonna try to come up with a plan for what I wanna make with those, and then see what else I have time to play with after that. I started playing around. You'll remember I wanted something simple, fat quarter friendly, of course, maybe mixing everything together, and probably not using any background fabric. Those were my goals this week when I was thinking about what I wanted to do with these fabrics. I'm gonna pull some things over here. So I started playing around just with some scrap fabrics and some different sewing together, cutting up, and seeing what happens. This was what I started with first, which this is cute enough. I don't hate it, but it's not quite what I wanted. It just didn't have quite the right panache. So I scrapped this. Might save this for something else, I'm not sure. This happens a lot while I am working on designs. Things won't work for a project that I am currently working on, but maybe sometime down the road, it'll be just the ticket for something else. So not the right thing for this project. The next thing that I played around a little bit with was something like this. So this is the unit right here. This little 4 patch with the 2 half square triangles and then the 2 squares. And I don't remember how big these are. I want to say this is maybe an 18-inch 4 patch, so a really big size. And I thought, well, something like this could be fun. And there are lots of different ways that you can lay that unit out and make some fun quilts. So this was the next thing I thought about, but it doesn't use a lot of different fabrics, which I kind of wanted something that used a lot of fabrics. I still think this is fun. This could be fun to play around with a little bit later, but maybe not for this project. So I scrapped this one also. Let's just move this to the side. And then I started playing a bit more with some piecing and then cutting. And that's where these little guys turned up. And I'm really happy with these because when you see how simple these are to piece, they don't look simple. Well, maybe they don't look hard either, but it looks like you're going to have a bit of fuss to make these. But these are so easy to piece. You piece them and then you give them a little cut, a little piece again, and you end up with these blocks. And these are just some scraps that I had on hand, so you can't really see how it's going to come together exactly. But when I started playing around, you can see that this block makes some fun things happen. I think this could be a lot of fun. And this is definitely the direction that I'm going to go with these fat quarters. And let me just keep talking a little bit here. So this is what, you know, kind of an idea of how things could look. This is how the block looks by itself if you just set it like this. I wouldn't do that, but I just wanted to throw this idea out there. I use electric quilt when I design my projects, so that lets me pivot blocks really easy, put fabrics in, play around with things. I had sun washed handy, so that's what you're seeing my mock-ups in, including this one over here. These are sun washed fabrics as well. And that just lets me see kind of how the blocks are going to lay out. And then I started thinking about what I might do with these fabrics specifically. And I thought, wouldn't these on this side be really pretty using all of the fat quarters for the backgrounds and then bringing in some reds. Now, I don't know if it would be these or maybe I'll pull in some reds from behind me here. Sunwashed has this really pretty reds right in here that I could mix in with these prints. You can see that they already have a little bit of red splashed throughout. So that would be a fun option to do for these. And then when I come over here to this selection, we could do more probably like this one here. Much scrappier, but focusing on the colors for the part that kind of recedes to the background and then framing them out with some of these lighter colors, maybe some of the whites, maybe some of the tans over here. I think that could be really pretty. So that is what I think I'm going to do with these fat quarters. I like the way this block works. I like how simple it is to piece, but it looks not as simple as it actually is, which I think is fun. And now the next step that I need to do is start doing some math to see exactly how many fat quarters it's going to take to make these quilts. That's going to be my next step in this upcoming week, figuring out some math. I want to be able to give you guys some of this block information so that if you want to make up this fat quarter quilt yourself, you'd have the information that you need. So that means I have to sit down and do some math. That's next on my agenda, and I'll be touching base again with you, seeing how this quilt is going, seeing if I was able to try out some of those other goodies in that box too, and keeping y'all updated along the way. It's been 2 weeks since we last chatted, and as you can see behind me, I have had a chance to work some more on this project. Last week, I figured out fabric requirements using fat quarters, and I've discovered that 12 fat quarters for these background bits and 4 fat quarters for the framed bits is going to work really nicely for this quilt. And I ended up deciding on making 2 quilts. This is the first one. Yesterday, I started cutting and piecing, and in just a couple hours, I had all of the blocks complete. They still need to be trimmed up, but it's a pretty quick quilt to piece. If you look here, this is what I want to use for the other quilt. I mentioned some different options the last time we chatted, and I think this is going to be really pretty. So I am going to want to make a second quilt, and as I've been working on it, I think I actually want to make another one using some sun-washed fat quarters because I think that's going to be super pretty as well. And as quickly as this quilt is coming together, I think 3 quilts doesn't seem like too many. So now a couple things I did notice as I was working on my blocks yesterday. I made test blocks to start with, making sure that my fabric requirements were accurate, that the fat quarter cutting was working out great, and then I played around a bit with the pressing. And I discovered that these blocks are going to work best if they are pressed open, which if you know me, you know that's not my favorite. I much prefer to press to the side if possible, but because of the way these blocks come together right against each other and they're rotated within the quilt with no sashing, it does work best to press them open. But good news, that gave me a chance to try out this pressing bar that you saw me open up. And this is the one I had mentioned at the beginning of the video that I do have a pressing bar that I've been using. It's this one here. This is called the Strip Stick, and I do like it. It definitely makes pressing open go much smoother. If you have never used one, this is a notion that I can recommend. If you do press your seams open pretty frequently, you've probably realized that pressing to one side first and then pressing the seam open results in a smoother seam than if you just immediately press your seam open without first pressing to the side. If you haven't noticed that and you have been just pressing open right from the start, you may notice that your seam might be a little bit wiggly rather than nice and straight. So this eliminates both of those problems. You can press open right from the start, and there's no wiggliness right in that initial pressing. It just makes a nice open pressed seam. I wasn't sure if this was going to do a better job, the same job, or a worse job, and I got a lot of chance to try it out yesterday. So I'm going to actually show you a little bit of the pressing using this bar in just a minute. But from my first impression, I think that I might like this woolly, it's the Ewe Me woolly pressing bar a little bit better. This is the 12-inch size. There's also a longer size, I think a 20-inch size, and probably that's the size that I would like because I did find that I wished I had just a little bit more length on this. But I was really enjoying pressing with it. The other thing that I was able to try out yesterday when I was piecing my blocks, because the seams are pressed open, I found that I was going to need to pin, which gave me a chance to try out the flathead magic pins. I do like them. These are the fine 2-inch size flathead pins, and there are a couple different options with the flatheads, and I think I might prefer one that is just a little bit finer. There is an extra fine option in this 2-inch long size, and I think I would like to try that one. I liked the grippiness of this pin. I mean, that's what I like about the magic pins across the board is how grippy they are. But it was just a little bit of a thicker pin than I would prefer. So I think I would like to try the extra fine version in that length. I do like the length. It was just the thickness that I wasn't quite sure about. But a good pin. If you like a thick pin, if you have trouble grasping your pin heads ever, that is a nice choice. It also advertised as being heat resistant. I didn't test that part out, but that is nice to know that you should be able to iron over those pin heads without any problems. Now, I'm going to move everything to the side, pull up my ironing board, and I want to show you just how easy it is to press seams open using this pressing bar. It really makes things so nice. I saved 2 blocks to press open just so I could show you how easy it is. I'm gonna bring my ironing board up here. Now this is a lot higher than I would usually like to press, but I think it's still going to give you a nice idea. So you would just take your block and you're just gonna lay it right across that bar. I've got my iron over here. Let me slide this over. You're going to get this seam started right there. I usually just give it a little bit of a finger press, and then you can just slide it all the way down across pretty quickly and without worry that you're gonna have any doubling up. I hope my steam sound wasn't too noisy for you. This iron has such a great amount of steam. And then I'll just give it a press from the front here. And there we go. Just that easy. If you are a seam press opener, you know that sometimes that can take a fair amount of time. That's what the back looks like. And we'll go ahead and do the other one, just so you can see that. It just really streamlines things so nicely. They do advertise that this wooden part can be used for a clapper. It's fairly lightweight to use for that purpose in my opinion, but I did test it out a little bit and I thought it worked nice. I do prefer a heavier weight clapper than what this one would be, but it's nice to know you have that option. So there we go. Move that to the side and then give this a little bit of a press. And it's gonna be all set. Just that easy. So I hope you can see, if you're not familiar with those pressing sticks, how much easier it does make if you like to press your seams open. Whether it is this one in the box or this other option that I showed you, they are both really nice and definitely something to keep on hand. The next time we chat, I hope to have this quilt behind me all sewn together. I want to have the low volume version with the little red frames all sewn together. I don't know that I will get the sun washed quilt cut and sewn, but that is also on my agenda. And I will also be sharing more about that giveaway. We have an identical mystery box, just like what you saw me unbox at the beginning of the video. I have a second one that we are going to be giving away. So if you stick around just a little bit longer, I'll share my completed quilts. I'll have that giveaway, and it's going to be a fun end to this fun video. It's been about 2 weeks since we last chatted, and as you can see behind me, I have a couple finished quilt tops. I sewed the blocks together for this one that you saw already, and then made the blocks and sewed together this other quilt top. And I think they turned out so cute. I was really happy with how the blocks pieced. I do have some thoughts about piecing the whole quilt top together. And I am going to be sharing how to piece the blocks as well as piecing the quilt tops in a future video. I think that'll be a fun thing to share. So if that's something that you want to hear more about, make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss out on that video. The other thing I got a chance to try is this little light. I didn't know if I was gonna have a chance, but we had some really gloomy gray days the last couple weeks. And so I popped this onto my sewing machine when I was piecing together. I think I used it for both of the quilt tops, and I was really impressed with it. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. I want to take you over to my sewing machine and show you how handy it is and what it looks like in action. This is the little light. It is not a very big light, so I wasn't sure how bright it was going to be. It's nice and flexible. I had originally thought that I would use the Velcro and stick it up here. There's a second piece of Velcro that you can stick wherever you want on your machine. So I thought I would stick it up here and then just pivot my light however I needed it to, but I wasn't sure that I was going to like losing that throat space. So I ended up attaching my Velcro to the back side here and then sticking my light here. And when I bring the light down underneath, it's very small and it does not take up very much of my throat space at all. And then I can position the light portion wherever I need it. And I wanted to use it just to sort of brighten up this portion of my sewing space on one of those gray days. But really, if you wanted to light up wherever you needed it, you could put that Velcro anywhere on your machine. And I'll show you how nice and bright it is. There's two settings. This is the dim setting, and it's fairly bright in here today. It's even more noticeable on those gray days I was talking about, and then the bright setting. And I just thought it lit up my sewing space so nice, especially for as small as that little light is. So I have been very happy with using it. I've used it for several hours without needing to recharge it, but when it comes time to recharge it, it just plugs right in using that USB cord, and I'll charge it and be ready for more sewing. I had so much fun trying out some of these different items that Moda sent over to me in this fun mystery box. I didn't get a chance to try out nearly everything. They sent me so many fun different notions and fabrics, but I especially enjoyed coming up with this pattern to highlight Brenda Riddle's Sweet Liberty line, and then also it works really well to highlight the Mix It Up fabric line in this more low volume option. And so I'm really happy with how those quilts turned out. Those fabric lines are both in quilt shops right now, so if either of them or both of them caught your eye, you can pick those up in quilt shops now. But I just think they turned out so pretty. That was by far my, well, I guess it was the only projects that I worked on with what I was given, but it was such a fun one. My favorite projects to work on. As far as favorite notion, I really liked this woolly pressing bar. This I liked more than I thought I was going to like, and I know I had said I thought I might prefer having it longer, but I continued using this over the last couple weeks since I last filmed the segment prior to this, and I'm pretty happy with this 12-inch size. I did have some blocks that were longer, some longer pieces that I was pressing open, and I didn't mind having to slide them down on this bar, and it really worked nice for smaller blocks then too. So this was definitely my favorite notion of the ones I was able to try. You can see everything here that was included in the box. And the fun thing is that now it's time for a giveaway of all of these goodies to one of you. Because as I said, Moda sent me 2 mystery boxes. That means that one of you will have the fun of trying out these items just like I did. And there's some goodies in here. So everything you see here will be included in the giveaway, and one lucky person will be receiving the giveaway. These fat quarter bundles are so much fun, and of course everything else was just a lot of fun. To enter the giveaway, make sure that you're a Coriander Quilt YouTube channel subscriber. I will be choosing one of my subscribers to win all of these wonderful goodies. Second, like this video. And third, if you could leave me a comment letting me know the type of quilting videos you most enjoy watching, that would be wonderful. I will draw a lucky winner next Saturday and announce it in the community tab here on my YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that, and good luck to everyone. I thought this was such a fun video to put together. Thank you, Moda Fabrics, for sponsoring such a fun video, and I hope to catch all of you back here again next time.